Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really revolutionary idea: how to turn wasted green energy into actual digital wealth. Now, no, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but believe me, it is already happening. So, let's start with a simple question. What happens when it's a beautiful, sunny day, the solar panels are working overtime, but nobody actually needs the power? It seems like a good problem to have, right? But it's actually a huge challenge for our entire energy infrastructure. All that clean power has literally nowhere to go.
And that power, well, it becomes what engineers call stranded energy. You're looking at it right here. All that potential, all that investment in our green future, it just vanishes. It's a massive, massive leak in the system.
Okay, so how do we fix this? Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the green energy paradox. Then, we'll talk about something called a microgrid. After that, how crypto acts like a digital sponge. We'll even get into tokenizing energy itself, and finally, what this all means for the future. Let's dive in. All right, section 1, the green energy paradox. This sounds totally backwards, I know, but having too much green power at the wrong time can be a serious problem for the old school electrical grid we rely on every day. So here's what's really changed. In the old days, if you had solar panels, you could sell your extra power back to the grid at a nice, predictable rate. Simple. But the new reality? It's all about real-time spot pricing. And that means when there's a ton of sun or wind, the value of that electricity can plummet. I mean, literally, drop to zero. Sometimes they'll even charge you to take it. And that's the bottom line, really. This inefficiency creates what you could call stale energy. And it's not just an environmental issue of wasted potential. It's a huge financial leak. It makes green energy projects way less profitable and actually slows down the whole shift to a sustainable future. So how do we plug that leak? Well, the solution begins with rethinking our infrastructure, bringing power generation and consumption way closer together with something called a microgrid. So what is a microgrid? Just think of it like a mini self-sufficient power grid for a specific area. It could be a neighborhood, a hospital, you name it. It can connect to the main grid or, and this is the important part, it can disconnect and run all on its own. And this right here shows you just how powerful that is. During Hurricane Ian, the main grid went down for millions, but microgrids, they just disconnected and kept the lights on for crucial places like hospitals. That kind of resilience is an absolute game changer. But it's not just about emergencies. These systems are just smarter. They're way more efficient because the power doesn't have to travel hundreds of miles. They protect you from crazy price swings in the energy market. And, like we just saw, that islanding capability gives you incredible energy security. Okay, so the microgrid is piece number 1 of the puzzle. But the real magic is what you do with all that extra power when no one in the local area needs it. And this is where things get really, really cool. This is the genius move. You use cryptocurrency miners as a financial sponge. See, unlike a factory that needs constant power, you can flick a crypto mining operation on or off in a split second. That makes them the perfect buyer of last resort, to just soak up all that surplus electricity that would have been wasted. Here's how it works. Step 1, your local microgrid is producing way too much energy. Step 2, the main grid says, nope, we're full. Step 3, that power gets instantly rerouted to miners that are right there on site. And boom, step 4, the value of that physical energy is immediately converted into a secure digital asset. It's like having a giant battery, but without the staggering cost. But wait, it doesn't stop there. The next level of this is even more mind-bending. We're not just using the wasted energy anymore. We're literally turning the electron itself into a tradable asset.
What this does is it completely flips the script. You and your community go from being just passive customers who buy power from some giant utility to being active energy providers. You're actually adding liquidity and value back into the system.
So how on earth does that work? Well, first, blockchain creates a tamper-proof record of every kilowatt hour you produce. Then, that energy gets wrapped into a unique digital token. And just like that, your extra solar power isn't just electricity. It's a tradable asset you can sell peer-to-peer, directly to your neighbor, with no middleman. And what this creates is this incredible concept and architecture of community arbitrage. That's a fancy way of saying it gives a local community the power to play the energy market, automatically finding the best price for its power and making sure the profit stays with the people who generated it. Now here's where we step into the future. This whole market can be run by AI. We're talking about smart contracts that automatically manage trades between houses, automated bots making thousands of micro trades every second. The whole system is designed to squeeze every last drop of value out of that sunlight, and all of that profit stays right there in the community. As you can probably guess, the implications of this are just huge. It's not just about one neighborhood. This tech is tackling some of the biggest questions we have about our energy future. This also hits on a major debate about crypto's energy use. By creating a paying customer for otherwise wasted renewable energy, this model creates a really powerful financial reason to build more solar, more wind. It helps subsidize the whole green transition. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's already happening on the ground. In places like Lebanon, Nigeria, and rural India, these kinds of systems are replacing dirty, inefficient diesel generators and bringing reliable, clean power to people for the first time. And if you need any more proof that this is foundational technology, check this out. NASA is literally planning to use a microgrid to power its Artemis base on the moon. I mean, it is the ultimate off-grid energy solution. So that leaves us with this final powerful thought. What happens when every single neighborhood, every home, becomes its own potential power plant? How does that kind of decentralized grid change our relationship with energy forever? It's a future that's being built as we speak, one microgrid at a time. Thank you for watching. If you got something from this, please like the video and support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. That really helps us. Thanks again.